Welcome back to the Strength and Speed podcast. I'm your host, Strength and Speed owner and Conquer the Gauntlet Pro, Evan Preparis. I got a guest with me on the line. Before we get to him, though, a quick word from this episode's sponsor. This episode is brought to you by OOFOS. OOFOS makes recovery sandals and shoes. That's what I wear every time I travel to a race because they're super comfortable. And they also help me recover, right? They absorb 37% more impact than traditional shoe running foam. So I just ran Toughest Mudder this past weekend, and my body's still a little bit of a mess. So the OOFOS have been super awesome. And, especially when your feet are tender or you have a foot injury. Like I know my teammate Miranda, she's got a foot injury, and she's only been wearing OOFOS. That's the only thing she can wear comfortably without, and still move around easily. All right, let's jump into today's guest. So joining me back again, I have Amine Dib, the King of OCR in the Middle East. Amine, welcome back.
Evan, my friend who became a family member from the States.
Yes.
And thank you for this nickname. I'm proud to have it from a person like you. I know your input in the OCR world. Moreover, I know and I have touched your input in Hannibal Race, where your fingerprints are well shown in our race. And this is something that I'm proud of and happy to have it.
I love it. And if for those who are not tracking, Amine is the one of the owners of Hannibal Race and one of the founders of Hannibal Race, which is Lebanon's only obstacle course race. And they've expanded into some other countries, including Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. And then he's also kind of on his own personal side. He's an athlete himself. He does these is it annual endurance bike rides all over Lebanon to raise money for a charity?
Yeah, that's correct. It's the project is called On the Road. It started almost 10 years ago. In the last 10 years, I have achieved 7 editions. These editions has one aim is to raise money for children with cancer.
Awesome.
Until now, in 7 editions, we raised something around $120,000 US.
Whew.
It was 12 kids were affected, or 12 or 11 kids were affected by donations, and this is awesome, man. When you see when you are riding and getting super tired, but at the end of the road, you have a goal, a charity goal. This is awesome, and you know how it goes. You yourself, you do a lot of charity things, so this is awesome.
Yeah, it really helps you dig deep, and it's really a great feeling to give back. And on top of that, you're also a Tae Kwon Do champion from.
Yeah, I'm a former national team member in the Lebanese Taekwondo Federation and national team. I have many gold medals in the nationals, and I have many different medals in the Pan Arab Games and many international competitions. This is my route, from Taekwondo.
And on top of that, again, man of many talents here. Also, a fitness celebrity in the Middle East, right? He's got a TV show with a couple different segments, a couple times a week.
Yeah, I go 4 or 5 times a week, and I have, in addition to my fitness episode, Get Fit, that was on air, live on air since 12 years now. I also have 2 other segments. One of them, it's called Up to Date, where we speak about everything happening in Lebanon and the region. And I have 4 times per week, I have a very nice episode called Technology, where we speak about anything that has to do with technology worldwide. And most of the time I focus and I emphasize on technology and the fitness world, what's going on in all this area. It's funny how much after COVID-19, home training was moving forward in a very fast steps. And if we look before, the companies that was doing technology, high technology, if you want softwares and mirrors and technology stuff, how they were in a bit of a trouble, not selling a lot. But after COVID-19, people were at home and the demand was going fly like a rocket, and all these companies were having more and more sales to do, So
Yeah.
the demand was so great. Yeah, we speak a lot of things regarding technology worldwide.
Awesome. And for our listeners, so I got to tell this story. I told you on text message a couple of weeks ago, but so I went down to a race in Oklahoma City, Rugged Maniac, and then at a different time I went down for Battle of the Lions. And on the way back, I stopped at is a Mediterranean place, but yeah, I go in and it's like it all looks like Lebanese food. I'm like, I was like, the owner's got to be from Lebanon, right? So I asked, and I was like, where's the owner from? And they're like, Lebanon. And then I was like, oh, what part of Lebanon? And they're like, it's by the coast. And I was like, well, where on the coast? Like, she's giving general answers and I want details. And they're like, oh,
Yeah,
you've
because you
been?
know the
I was like,
country.
yeah, I've been. And she was like, oh, this is great. So I name dropped Amine, and the lady who was working there, she's Lebanese, knew who he was from TV,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
thought was just
because
so funny.
yeah, the Lebanese community, they all watch MTV Lebanon. That's why it's like when I go to LA and I'm in a mall and I see like Lebanese people there, they go, hey, Amin, how are you? What you doing here? And I go like, what? It's like weird.
And for the Americans, MTV is not music television. It's
Yeah, it's MTV Lebanon.
yeah, it's just another channel. It's in Lebanon. So yeah. All right, let's get to today's content of today's episode. So, couple things we want to talk about. One is Hannibal Race returned. They just had their first event post quarantine about a week and a half ago in Lebanon. And then on top of that, if anyone was following the news last year, there was also a large explosion in Beirut. We're going to talk about that in the later half of the episode. It was a little more serious topic. And I know Amin was personally affected by that. And it was like downtown Beirut. It is there. Like me and Brenna, when we plotted on the map, while we were in Lebanon, we went to like a bar, like a rooftop bar. And it was like 2 blocks from the bar, like the explosion was.
Yeah, correct. Totally right. Totally correct.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that in the second half of the episode, but we're going to start off talking about OCR. So first of all, I guess, tell me, how Lebanon kind of dealt with the COVID, because I think every country's had like a different reaction, different timeline for stuff. How did that hit Lebanon?
Actually, it was pretty bad. The problem is that if I want to find a word to describe COVID-19, all countries, what they had in common, I might use one word: confusion. So I've been going in the middle of COVID. I've been going to LA. Like during COVID, I went 2 or 3 times to LA. What you see in the airports, what you see in different cities is like confusion about COVID-19. Like people want to be 100% taken care and be very cautious. Other people will be like less and less and less. Yeah, exactly. So we were like deeply in lockdown for like 3 months. If I might say, low in Lebanon is not 100%. So you might see a lot of people doing some, like many countries, it's not like something only in Lebanon, but people were resistant to COVID-19. Like imagine some of the people or individuals were like not believing in COVID-19. And like there is a lot of people all over the world, they say this is a scam, which maybe it could be a scam, maybe it could be a man-made virus or whatever. However, people are dying from COVID-19. Like a lot of people are dying. Like in my country, maybe we had, in our small country, maybe nearly 6,000 people died from COVID-19. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people were affected or diagnosed with COVID-19. I was lucky not to have it. Only my sister had COVID-19 and it was mild on her. It wasn't bad. And then I took the vaccine in Dubai and things went from like, now things are better. We went down to 200, 300 like infections per day, and now it's up to 1,500. These numbers were really, really, really low. And then we rolled the dice, and it started like a joke. And then we said, hey, Hiba and myself, we said, hey, let's do an edition. Come on, let's do it. What's happening in Lebanon? The problem worldwide, there is that COVID-19, but in Lebanon, we have like many problems. Like we have the inflation that is now 500 times. You had many problems. And I'm very sad to say, like Lebanon, if you come to Lebanon now, you left Lebanon maybe 4 years ago. I don't know the time frame that you have left. But if you come back to Lebanon, you will not recognize Lebanon anymore. The problem is that there are no events in Lebanon for the last 2 years, not because of COVID-19, also because of the economic situation that we're having. Like very shy number of events, small events, like 100 people, 200 people. And then we made a post on Instagram and people went crazy. Okay, so it became like, it began in a very funny way because Hiba wanted to do an edition. I did not. And we see like a post of one of our warriors saying that he posted a picture and he said under it, we miss Hannibal Race and stuff like that. So I put one comment and I say, because we had a request to do Hannibal Race in a place called Brumana. And I made a comment on this picture saying and tagging Hiba and said, hey Hiba, where you are going to be in August? So she answered, in Brumana. So people went crazy because they knew that the owners are talking in the comments about being in Brumana, and people were going furious, trust me. And when we saw this reaction, we said, hey, we have no other choice for doing the race. And like we prepared it in 2 months. The last month was hectic. We were like, as I said, rolling the dice. We didn't know if we want to have a problem, political problems. We didn't know if we're going to have like problems related to to what's going on and the problems in the streets, riots and stuff like that. We didn't know if we are going to another lockdown, if the numbers were getting worse. So we said, you know what, we crossed our fingers. We said, hey, let's do it. And we made it.
Two big ones I did in Lebanon at Hannibal Race were up in the mountains. Where's Bromana in relation to like Beirut? And what's the terrain like?
Yeah, Bromana is like around maybe it's 700 meters above the sea. It's like 15 minutes from Beirut. It's not a far place. The thing is, it's a 100% trail in the forest. It was nice where you start on the asphalt, like for 500 meters, and then you go deep into the woods. It was a very nice trail, 6 kilometers, 18 obstacles, and it was a lot of fun. Like we had amazing feedback. If you go to our page now and you see all the comments, people were furious, people were happy, people were like furious in a positive way, of course. Like they were like running, having fun. And as I said, if you heard me, we sold 2,134 tickets.
Whew.
Yeah, which is a crazy number because
that's crazy for that.
We aimed first for a limited amount of cards. So we said, hey, let's print 1,200 tickets. 1,200 tickets were sold out in 9 days. So we had to drop another 400 tickets and then sold out in like 3 days. So the more the days were getting closer to the race, we had like an attack from people saying that they need to run. But we had at the end like to make like around 300 people to run for fun with no time chip, like just a fun run, because we had to accommodate everybody. So we ended up selling 2,134 tickets. And for Lebanon, this is a huge number. And we reached a point where you will never see someone in the fitness community in Lebanon that doesn't know another person that was in the race.
Oh, wow.
Social media, everybody in Lebanon had someone, a family member running in the Hannibal Race. It was an amazing experience. This is by far one of my like really amazing editions of Hannibal Race. The thing is, our goal was to bring back Lebanon up to its feet. And I think we were like 100% positive about doing this goal. Like on national television, like it was on live on television, like the presenter, a famous presenter, was saying all the time that this event is bringing Lebanon back to its feet. And this was our main goal. This was our main aim.
That's awesome. Yeah. So when me and Brenna went to Hannibal Race, just like this edition, it was, it's broadcast on live TV. So it's cool because we went to the race and we come back and the hotel clerk's like, I saw you guys on TV. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, and they it's a smaller country. So it's a bigger deal. And like everyone knows about it versus in America. Like I go run a race and I go into the hotel that's like closest to the venue and they don't even know what's going on. So it was so cool to be in a country where like, you're doing your sport and it's a big deal. People, everyone knows about the Hannibal Race going on next weekend. Maybe not everyone's running it, but everyone knows it's happening.
Yeah, right? That's right. That's right. And all our editions were on live TV, huh?
Yes.
All of our editions. This is one of the policies that we had to do in order to build the community. And now you see like a large number of people, they have tattoos of Hannibal Race, Hannibal Warriors. So it became like, I'm so proud, Evan, that we built an amazing community. And if I go back to the days, and I always tell the story, and I remember when Crepaway, one of our sponsors, said, hey, let's put a brochure in one of our in all our bags that for delivery. And I said, I don't know if we have to do this. I don't know if it's good. And look where we are now, because I was not sure if we were on the right track. And then here you come to the race, to the winter edition, having the brochure in your hand, and you tell me, hey, I got this in the bag of Crepaway. And I said, oh my God, we are on the right track. And this point was like, you introduced us to, you opened a lot of doors for us. And we always like have Evan Perperis as our main guy, a family member that we need. You are our lucky good luck person, whenever I have something, I message you, hey, what do you think? Should we do this? Should we do that? So it was a blessing knowing you, Evan.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just trying to help out and grow the sport. And for our listeners, Crepe Boy is like a fast food crepe place that's in Lebanon. It's really good actually. I love it. Yeah, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the future. I don't know how much you can reveal because I know there's a lot of things in the background.
We have like we're 90% heading to have like cool things coming in the way in Dubai, in Egypt, and back to Kuwait. If you give me like 10 days, I will go back on another podcast and I'll tell you the news. But we're going to like really, Hiba is right now in Dubai. At this moment, she has a meeting. I'm following her like Thursday, and when things will be good. Like I can tell you one thing now. One thing is sure. Whatever we do, you are included in them. So that's without asking you. So you are included in all our upcoming events for sure. And if Hannibal Race will be in Dubai, and it is happening in Dubai, you are going to be running this race. You have my word on it.
Well, thank you, Amine. I love that, and I love going to the Middle East in like more of a touristy, athlete type of role. And Dubai is super nice. Me and my wife, we spent our last couple of days of our honeymoon there. So it's to anyone who's from America that's interested. I mean, Dubai and like all of UAE is about as westernized as you can get in the Middle East. It gives you that like
it's
flavor.
Like Las Vegas.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like Las Vegas. Dubai is a twin city of Las Vegas. I love it.
Yeah. So it's a cool experience, and they got some crazy stuff there. Burj Khalifa, tallest building in the world. It's just
Yeah,
absurdly
the
tall.
biggest, the tallest, the fastest, whatever you get, you can see there is the biggest, like the top of the world.
Yes.
They believe in the growth of the country. I have a lot of respect for the UAE. Like I even live most of my time now in UAE because of what's happening in Lebanon. This country is so welcoming. This country is so respectful. The blend of expats living there. Plus, one thing to know, like the system in whatever you can choose in Dubai, like medical system or commercial system or whatever, is one of the finest worldwide. I have a residency there, permanent residency, since I live there most of my time. And the Emirati, like locals, are amazing. They are welcoming, they're nice, they're educated, and they love their country. And plus, they love the blend happening in their country. They embrace the blend of everybody being like living in Dubai. It's like the most finest like places you can go.
Nice. Yeah. And your recent edition of Hannibal Race was also an OCR World Championships qualifier.
Yes.
So a bunch of your athletes got qualified for, pro and age group for, well, I guess you don't need to qualify for age group this year, but a bunch of them qualified for pro. Do you know if any of those guys are planning on making the trip, or is there travel restrictions still in place from Lebanon to US?
There are no travel restrictions, but the American embassy in Beirut is closed for the moment. They're not accepting visa applications till I think July 2022. So it will be like very tough for some athletes to travel to USA. Plus you have the economic crisis in Lebanon where now before let's say $1,000 were worth of 1,500,000 Lebanese lira. Now $1,000 is worth 22 million Lebanese lira, where everything got scrambled because of the very smart political people ruling this country. And you've been in Lebanon and you know how it is. It's very weird what's happening. They call the Lebanese politicians cheese eater.
Interesting term.
Yeah, this term is for when you hear worldwide term called cheese eater, it means the politician that has commissions and bribes all the time is a cheese eater. Yeah, so this is a term made back in the day since World War II about the Lebanese politicians, unfortunately, and it became like an international, saying or word. Every time you hear about a cheese eater, you remember the politician that takes some bribes and commissions, so it leads you to some of the not everybody, but most of the Lebanese politicians, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Well, since we're already going down that path, we'll continue and then jump back to OCR before the podcast is over. But for the people who are watching the news, and actually even if you weren't watching the news, if you're on social media, like a little over a year ago, there's this huge explosion in Beirut, right? Enormous. And then, I think like most people on social media, they see the explosion and they're like, oh, wow, that was, terrible. And then people go about with their lives and they don't really follow up. So I know you were personally affected by it. So tell us a little bit about the, I don't know what you guys are calling it, the Beirut port explosion or port bombing. What are you?
The Beirut Blast. It's
Beirut
the famous Beirut Blast. It's the third biggest blast mankind ever knew. Okay, and until now, I used to live in the middle of Beirut, 100 meters from where the explosion were made. 2 years ago, I went to my village where I was born. It's 20 minutes out in the suburbs of Beirut, and I moved there. Now, my parents stayed in our neighborhood where we lived, in the house where I was born. And unfortunately, both of my parents were injured, I might say like stitches and bruises and stuff like that. They both had to endure over than 300 stitches. And and my dad is 95 now. So he's not, he's really at this part of his life, he should be like 100% rested, taken care of, which is we do. We have a lot of care to our parents. Like they live happily, you know, in Lebanon, and they're so attached to Lebanon. I don't want to go to the political reason, but in our port of Beirut, there was storage of 2,700 tons of nitrate, ammonium nitrate.
Mm-hmm.
There is only one, I'm not going to assume, but there is only one political party in Lebanon that can store this amount of nitrate in this place, right, without anyone knowing. And somehow, we don't know how, the nitrate will explode. I see a miracle in this because 6 o'clock is a rush hour, kind of a rush hour, like between 5 and 6. It was at the end of the rush hour. Until now, I don't have how I'm gonna say like a normal understanding in my head how only 216 people were died and 6,000 injured, because this type of explosion would have killed thousands. Until now, I don't understand how my mom and dad is still living. I look at them every time I go to their place as living miracles, because when I arrived after 11 minutes of the blast, when I arrived to their house, the house were wiped out. Like they live in the 6th floor, facing the Beirut port immediately. The 6th floor were gone. There is no 6th floor. So on the road, there was a problem in communicating over the phone. But one of my neighbors, old neighbors, he said, I saw your mom on the floor covered in blood, and I didn't see your dad. So my mom is always with my dad. They were never separated. So when I saw this, I said, oh my God, I have to go now and search for them. I was sure for some reason that they were both dead, you know. Mm-hmm. But when I arrived, I saw my dad and my mom sitting in front of the house and in front of the building, covered in blood. And I, as a first reaction, because they didn't know where if we were alive, because me, my brother, and my sister were on our way to their house to have dinner on that day. So the explosion happened. We were on the road. We were affected. I was like very near to them, and I had to run for like 4 kilometers to reach the places. And I will not tell you what I saw on the streets, because it was like the apocalypse, the end of the world. And I arrived there, and funny, my dad is an old lawyer. He's like patriotic, like he's the old Maronite, you know, Catholic guy that he loves his country, you know what I'm saying? And I came, and you know me, I'm very strong, but when I saw them all covered in blood, I start crying. And my dad suddenly shouted at me saying, hey, why are you crying? Like, toughen up a bit, because we are okay. We're not dying. We're okay. We are a bit injured. This is a 95 years old guy saying this. And I said, what people will say, seeing you crying now, but you know, Dad, go up to the building. Our neighbors some of them are killed and some of them are injured. Help them go down. So I had to find one of my friends that I called on the road, and he has like a quad, like an ATV. So this was the only way to reach the road, because it was a mess. So he took my dad first to the hospital, a nearby hospital, and then he took my mom first, and then he came and he took my dad. And back then, my brother arrived, and my sister were waiting for my parents in the hospital, and we started to help people injured and killed people. And it was the toughest part of my life to see like all nice ladies and old nice men that we used to live all our life looking up to them, dead in their houses. In a very gruesome way. They're all beheaded or like it was my worst, like you know, and this is the first time I speak about it. It was one of the gruesome experiences I had to live. Our neighborhood, like less than 50 meters of buildings, like 4 buildings, we had 28 killed and 300 injured. And there was a street, a nearby street, a parallel street to us, a small street, where they had 45 killed and 500 injured. Like the full, like the street, the neighborhood, every family had someone that died.
Oh, geez.
Luckily, I was very lucky that my parents are still alive, and it's amazing how they recover very fast, mentally and physically. And what we did first, and what you could have seen first in our street the next day or on the same day, people preparing themselves to come back. And we were the second apartment or house in the neighborhood to come back after 6 weeks, and the first house in the building to be fully renovated, and my dad came back to the house. So we did this on purpose to send a message that we're not going to leave, the places. And I don't want to speak about, it's not about ethnicity anymore in Lebanon. It's not about Christians or Muslims. It's about the bad politicians. You have bad politicians from all ethnicities.
Mm.
I don't know what's going to happen. After. The impact of Hezbollah in taking Lebanon had destroyed Lebanon big time. And this is not something that I'm afraid to say, or this is the truth. When we had other influences in Lebanon, come on, it's westernized. You came to Lebanon and you saw it's westernized. We cannot be under, we cannot be under another influence like Europe and USA. We cannot be under Iranian influence, or with all due respect to everyone, or we cannot be under Hezbollah influence. It doesn't look like Lebanon from all means and all parts. So I think now we're speaking a bit politics, which is I was involved in politics all my life, and we need to see what's going to happen first. It doesn't look good, to be honest. It doesn't look good in Lebanon, but we still have faith to come back to our to how we used to live before, and basically that's it. We had tough experiences, but come on, at the end, if I say I want to leave Lebanon, I can leave easily now. I can go to the States or go wherever I want, but it's still like not the time to leave our country. We're not going to give up on Lebanon. Gotcha. It's a beautiful country. People here are amazing. People here are Americanized and westernized big time by the majority. Some influences all over the years that came to Lebanon that doesn't look like us, doesn't resemble to us in all means, now has the power and the influence. So and you know what? It's very funny because during this, what USAID made to Lebanon, man, was phenomenal, and this is the US always gave Lebanon the culture of life, like the culture of education, like the culture of humanism or the humankind, how humanity should be. And I don't have it like I lived in the States all my life. I always say I'm an American man living in Lebanon, trying as much as I can to keep this, because we deserve better than explosions, better than economic crisis, better than people killing each others. We don't resemble to how they want us to be, and I think we will succeed in this. God bless.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that story. There was a lot of some details in there I hadn't heard before, and I know after the explosion, you sent me some videos that, I mean, it was just wild to see.
I wish one day, I'm sure you're gonna live, because you have a brother in Lebanon named Amine Dib. You're gonna visit in Lebanon, of course. I'm gonna make sure to take you to places and to visualize with you what happened. I'm telling you, on my way running to my house, I've seen people asking for help. And it was a tough call for me, knowing that my parents are bleeding and they're gonna die. And I don't want them to be dying from this explosion without me being there. So it was a tough call for me to try just to arrive to my parents first and then go ahead. And we stayed till 6 o'clock in the morning, just helping people. And it was the toughest call of my life.
Yeah. Well, no, your parents surviving and being okay in the long run is, I mean, like you said, is a miracle. And I'm sure some of the families and people you helped after that, I'm sure they view you as a a miracle, an angel sent to help them. So
Man, I've seen a lot of people helping. I've seen like everybody came to help from all over Lebanon, man. The
that's so
Lebanese,
great.
the Lebanese population is amazing. It's very sad to vision, like to say to the world that in Lebanon we have problem between ethnicities, which we don't have. We have bad politicians from all over ethnicities trying to say this is the problem, but it's not the problem.
Gotcha.
It's not the problem.
Yeah, that was great. That was some great information. And again, thanks again for sharing your personal experience. Let's jump back back over to OCR before we close out the podcast. Let's see.
Let me ask you first. Are you ready to what's coming towards you from Hannibal Race?
I guess I have to be.
You gotta be ready, my man. You gotta be ready.
I'm excited because, like I said, you guys are always actually on the cutting edge. Like you'll do stuff, and then stuff will happen in America that mirrors what you've already done overseas. So some of like the television coverage. I mean, we still have had no live TV coverage here. And then some of the other stuff you've done with, opening a gym at one point, and then within a year, Tough Mudder opened the gym, which is kind of funny to see. And it's just kind of expanding to some other countries. So,
trust me, Evan, we have a lot of things coming in the pipeline, and you are going to be part of it. This is the last thing I'm going to say. I meet you after in 10 days, and I will be able to speak more about it.
Awesome. I'm excited. You're doing great work over there, and in America, we were concerned about, is OCR going to come back, especially after, COVID and quarantine ended, or are people going to be hesitant to get back out there? And I think, at least in America, and it sounds like in Lebanon too, people are coming back in greater numbers, right? Like they're tired of staying inside.
Trust me, they will come back. They will come back in large numbers. Trust me. They will. Like I've seen people on the main door coming. He has no ticket, and he goes, "Hey, look," telling me, "Hey, look, man, I came from the south. I'm coming to run, whether you want it or not." And you go, "Okay, let's do a fun run. Are you ready to run with a fun run with no just sign a waiver of liability, do the paperwork, and be safe, be insured. Everything is okay. Come on, go run." Yeah. So trust me, people will be coming back big time.
Nice. Again, well, I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to seeing you again. I haven't seen you in a while, and let's definitely keep in touch, and we
will for sure
keep trying to help grow OCR and Hannibal Race worldwide.
Thank you, and thank you for your support. We are a better organization due to your efforts. Thank you so much, Evan.
Thank you.
I will always be saying this. Trust me.
I feel like you give me a lot more than I give you, but I appreciate it.
That's the truth. That's the truth, man.
All right, we'll be in touch. Thanks again for joining us, Amine.
Thank you so much. Blessings, man. Blessings.
All right.